Everyone. Welcome to Chapter 1, The Evolution of Digital Analytics and the Internet. So, this chapter is going to cover quite a few things to get you started. The first one is we're going to look at structured, semi structured, and unstructured data, the introduction of the Internet and the World Wide Web, and then the evolution of how we got to marketing and digital marketing today. So, the Internet unleashed a lot of unlimited opportunities when collecting and using data. So, the benefits are you might be able to reduce operation costs because you have this data to know where to cut corners and where you need to spend your money. You can also respond to a quick, rapidly changing market condition. So, last semester, a lot of businesses were dealing with the COVID-19 epidemic, and it is still affecting different businesses. And so, this is something that data can help with. And then it also helps with the innovation of market research. And all of this data is used, and analysts can input it, create it, and organize and share it into different insight resources for businesses, nonprofit, and educational enterprises. So I just talked a little bit about the unstructured and structured and semi-structured data. This is kind of a silly example of unstructured and structured data. In the next slide, we'll explain this more. So structured data can be processed easily in a rational database or spreadsheet. So think of this as Excel, and like here's all the pretty rows. This can be inputted into a software such as Tableau, which you may not know about now, but you probably will know about after you finish this course. You can take a spreadsheet like this and convert it into a software, and it knows exactly what to do because it's all organized, versus unstructured data, which is information that does not exist in a row or a column database. This is unstructured pieces, bits, and parts all torn apart. And then semi structured data consists of information that is nearly prepped and ready to be organized. It lacks cleaning necessary for it to be processed. So, like misspelling, spacing errors, it will kind of look like this, but there might be a misspelling and a value missing here. And this row's completely disappeared. So, these are some examples of semi structured data. There are at least 5 types of networks in the internet. The first one is the public internet. This is the World Wide Web that you deal with probably every day in your life. The World Wide Web has been used for a long time now, and you know exactly what it is. It's public for everybody. An intranet is a network that runs internally in an organization. So you're an ETSU student, and I'm an ETSU professor. We are on the same network under ETSU's organization, or intranet. Extranet is 2 or more joined networks that share information. An example of an extranet would be Northeast State and ETSU and maybe a business or two sharing the same databases. We have the same information on more than one network. The mobile internet is used by our handheld devices connecting through the internet providers. So mobile internet is at the touch of our fingers, right? We can look at our phone, our iPhones, our Samsung Galaxies, and pull up the internet right as we need it. And then the Internet of Things. These are devices talking to devices. It creates intelligent web. So the Internet of Things is like artificial intelligence. Computers and phones and internets and intranets and extranets and mobile devices are all talking to each other, even when we're not using them. Ooh. So let's look at the internet timeline. In the 1950s, after World War II, the Cold War made the internet need to have more intelligent ways to communicate, which created ARPANET. ARPANET became available to researchers in the 60s to like connect databases more efficiently and to have research available. In the 1970s, Apple and IBM, 2 of the biggest computer corporations now, developed a personal computer, and it occurred in the late 1970s, which really just did like word processing and spreadsheet applications. It wasn't anything fancy like the MacBook Pros today. In the 80s, Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, or what you know as an IP address, this was created as a basic communication language for the internet. The National Science Foundation operated it as the backbone and banned commercial traffic. This is very important. This was a huge breakthrough on the internet because then people could start being identified based on their IP address. The 1980s created the Web 1.0, or the first stage of the World Wide Web. It was developed and it was entirely made up of static, non-interactive web pages connected by hyperlinks. You probably have never seen this, but it was very not user-friendly. It was not like the internet today. In the 1990s, venture capital funded was poured into untried and uniquely individual business models. It didn't work. It was a huge flop, and people did not like doing like e-commerce business. Gopher was developed as the TCP and IP for searching and distributing documents over the internet, and they created HTML, known as Hypertext Markup Language, and it was developed for creating web pages and web applications, which is still used today, and that was created in 1991. In 1993, Mosaic was the first freely available browser, and then it soon spawned Netscape. Mosaic was supported by Gopher, which was a file transfer protocol, and the network news transfer protocol. So Netscape was really, really big, especially in the early 2000s until Internet Explorer came around. And the reason Netscape, fun fact, Netscape disappeared is because Internet Explorer took a deal with Windows operating systems, and they created a monopoly. And before they got punished, Netscape filed for bankruptcy. Just fun fact. In 1995, Yahoo created their search engine, and it debuted initially using Google algorithms up until 2004, and then they invested in their own. In 98, Google search engine was founded on September 4th by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Google's search engine differentiated itself from other search engines by focusing on relevance of the pages based on patterns formed by hyperlinks. We all know these guys now as some of the richest people in the world. In 2000 and 2002, businesses failed during the 2000s, which led to the disappearance of venture capitaling. Again, e-commerce, not big. 2004 through 2009, popularity of www equated the rapid growth in users, content, sales, B2C, and B2B. And in result, the new emergence of social media, social networks hit. Why did it hit? In 2009, what was invented? The iPhone. The iPhone literally sparked everything. Steve Jobs should be accredited for a whole lot more than just creating Apple. 2010 to today, social networks are continuing to evolve with the Internet of Things, aka computers talking to other computers, and big data, which we will talk about big data more later throughout the semester. The main form of marketing has emerged and is now termed as omnichannel or persuasive marketing. In 2015 to 2029, the age of automation will be taking place, where the majority of marketing and advertising and analytics are a component of artificial intelligence and is all entirely automated, impacted the way we communicate. So here is just a little example. We won't go through it all, but the Web 1.0, 2.0, which is what we're in pretty much, Web 3.0 and Web 4.0. And you can go through and compare like web applications versus like it's all artificial intelligence and algorithms. It's crazy how much and how far we have come. The Web 1.0 was read-only. It was web developers and designers that created websites, contents for users to consume. The design was to prevent sites from contributing to their own content and crafting a response. The Web 1.0 is another channel of narrow information distribution like conventional technologies such as the radio and television. So this is why e-commerce wasn't big. You couldn't do anything. You could only read. Web 2.0 is the version of the World Wide Web where most of us have experience in. It's characterized by the shift of static web pages into user-generated content, which was the emergence of social media and mobile technologies. The content is generated by users over social media platforms, and it's known as UGC, or user-generated content, aka content created by you. Some tools are collaborative ecosystems like podcasts, blogs, tagging people on like a social media photo, social bookmarks, social networks, wikis. All of this is collaborative ecosystems. Due to the changing of societal norms, webmasters and programmers develop platforms allowing users to create montages and share their content. Some features of the Web 2.0. Longtail. Longtail is a term that's been popularized by Wire magazine. This is a term that refers to many products that sell small quantities and in contrast with the limited number of best-selling products. New business models are collaborative economy business models like Airbnb and Uber. I'm sure you have experience in both. They begin to threaten the survival of older business models like hotels and cabs. Yellow Cab Taxi filed for bankruptcy in 2015, I think, due to Uber and Lyft. That's huge. If you watch Sex in the City, you know that's all Carrie Bradshaw used, right? The device agnostic software development. Mobile software development toolkits such as Android aid the development of programs that run on the largest number of devices possible. Web analytics. Web analytics, which is what this class is it matures as the platform from the Web 1.0 to the Web 2.0's digital activities. And then search engines. Search engines pick up specific keywords that are used in searches, and they narrow down results from infinite amounts of unstructured data. When you were younger, Google probably had over 1 million web pages, but their algorithms have gotten smarter and they've gotten rid of the web pages that aren't relevant. Semantic web pages. Semantic web it makes up a web that is intuitive and intelligent by separating presentations of content and meaning. The semantic web simplifies the way that we customize, personalize communications. Social media, obviously you know about this, are networks, websites, and applications that focus on communicating, sharing through mobile devices, and stimulating social networking. Anywhere Internet. Anywhere Internet speaks to the expansion of the internet and more than half of the global population that we approach in 2020. Geolocation. These are mobile devices that broadcast the internet of service providers via global positioning, aka GPS, and near field communication, or geofencing. GPS simplifies navigation by eliminating the need for physical maps, which saves time and energy. I don't know how to operate a map because I have literally used GPS since the time I turned 16. The evolution continues with the Web 3.0. It is the next set of the World Wide Web. Web 3.0 marks the era of connected web operating systems, where the next software components like application programs and operating systems and data processing will reside on the internet. A critical dimension of 3.0 is the semantic web, or linked data, is also known as the web of data. Web 3.0 aims to make huge amounts of data and relationship among the data sites web available in a machine readable format like resource description frameworks, or RDF format for applications. You do not need to stress if all these words are like really, really big, because we're just going to focus on core. Web 3.0 gives features like democratization, where everybody can become a content creator and content consumer, such as bloggers, public content, collaborating on content creators that promote like all of this viral posts. Intelligent applications customize and personalize users' experience and insights, such as geolocation services, predictive analytics, and big data. And we're going to get into all of this deeper as we go. Collaborative economy. This is business models that leverage network and internet technology to satisfy the needs, so like Uber and Airbnb. And then smart fabric. Smart fabric refers to the process of shared information and its location, whether it is cloud computing, Habito, iBeacons, mesh networks, intelligent devices, or data lakes. Again, we're going to look into all of those later. IBM purchased the weather company in 2015 for consumers to have better predictive behaviors for weather changes. IBM collects 1 billion sensors of data in real-time information and insights in tens of thousands through Watson Analytics. This is an example of 3.0. So then we have the Web 4.0. It's relatively new, and it's directed into emerging technologies such as the Internet of Things, quantitative self, private clouds, intelligent computing, embedded intelligence, predictive analytics, and artificial intelligence. If you are on Pinterest, artificial intelligence is used all the time for suggesting things that might be relevant to you based on what you've already looked at. The Web 4.0 runs on algorithms, artificial intelligence, neutral sets, deep learning, Bayesian networks, smart devices, and it seeks to automate many of the functions that humans traditionally performed. We will get into everything you know about artificial intelligence throughout the semester. As a result, Web 4.0 applications are truly continuous, and they create profound legal, political, privacy, and economic issues that society is still working through.